1 hour from Seattle with this guy from NVIDIA. It's like such a
What's that guy's
small.
budget look like? Jeez, NVIDIA, that just makes me think like it's millions.
Well, he can go up to 1.5. Now, he's got a lot of it. I don't know how much, but he's got a lot in stock, obviously. He doesn't want to sell because he's already in a high tax bracket. So, but which I don't know if you want to oh, you hit record.
I
Okay.
just did. Yeah, I realized I wasn't.
Perfect. Like we just literally yesterday went under contract on this property, non-military guy, but he actually high income, works at Walmart, something in engineering. Not the day-to-day guy, but like I'm
Yeah.
assuming he manages engineers. So high income, high tax bracket. He bought a property last year, non-conforming duplex, just means took a house, split it up, renting top and bottom. He's going to build 4 units in the back. Well, he's got more money, and he's like needs to buy something else. Well, we ended up finding this property not too far from me, up north, and an hour north of Seattle. It's a duplex. He can build up to 4 units in the back. It's in an opportunity zone where you get tax incentives by spending money in this opportunity zone.
Yeah.
So,
I've been into that.
which actually, even if you're not a real estate professional, it still helps you out. So these are the types of things where we're trying to help people place money.
Yeah.
Yes, for cash flow and equity build, but there's these other tax benefits for these high income earners, right?
Right. It's not always just about does it make me an extra $200 a month or something? It's yeah. I got an extra few million sitting aside. I need to shelter it somehow or invest it. Where is that property at? An hour north of Seattle. Kind of sounds like Arlington.
It's Everett.
Everett. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see there being some opportunity zones in Everett. It's like I don't know how many are in Bellevue, but I could see Everett.
Right.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about the VA stuff. We kind of left off last week. Are you still using your VA?
Oh, I'm not in the military. It's my brother's in the military.
Oh no, I meant like virtual assistant.
Oh.
That's weird.
We just hit the record button. Before record, we're talking about VA loans, and I was like, okay. Now, yes, ironically, I just hired the second one yesterday or Monday. So,
Okay.
so yes, I'm doubling down, and I think if we keep growing at the pace we're growing, I'll need a third one by the end of the year.
So what are they doing? That's like a personal VA or for your business?
So the current VA that I had started out as lead gen, 100%. Then
Okay.
as I started building up the agent team, then I was like, hey, why don't we reduce some of the lead gen, increase some of the admin, right? And I would say 75, 25, 50, 50, somewhere in that area is admin to lead gen. Now we have a team, we need more lead gen. And so I'm like, okay, she's good at the lead gen. Let's put her 100%, and then let's get a 100% admin. And so this new guy that started, he's going to be 100% admin. And that's not just me, it's me and the team. So obviously we're starting with all my stuff first, and then we can let the team drop in requests and use him as well. But the biggest thing for me is that on the agent side of the business, we hire these third party people called transaction coordinators.
Yeah.
And the reason for this is that it's a lot of back office work. You have to do it legally to get paid and for compliance and all that. But we make our money in any sales business. You make your money talking to sellers or talking to either sellers or buyers, right?
Mhm.
So the goal is you pay for somebody to do this transactional back office stuff. That way I can go meet more people, close more deals. Well, that costs money. And for every transaction we do, it's about $500, right? Now, the VA that I just hired is $7 an hour. Plus, I'm paying a VA company to onboard. So let's just say $7 an hour times 40 hours a week times 4.3 weeks in a month, plus the $500. That's $1,700 a month. If I have him do 4 transactions a month, I basically have a free virtual assistant. Instead of paying I'm just taking the money that was going to this other person to this person. So now I'm moving the payroll from outside of my personal economy to inside my personal economy, meaning my business, so that those dollars flow within my network. Now, 4 transactions does not take up, I'm just going to guesstimate, maybe 10 hours a week. So there's 30 hours a week that I get for quote unquote free included, right?
Yeah.
So to me, it's an absolute no-brainer. So when I get the goal, we're at like 5 transactions a month. When we get to 10 transactions a month, I want to move up, have an ops person local, then the team. By that time, I'll probably have 10 people on the team, right? So I can have this person do more of the day-to-day ops here so that I can spend more time generating content, talking to sellers, existing clients, generating more business.
Whoa. Now, how do you find the right VA?
So I went with so the first VA is actually a friend of mine, which is how we connected. Ryan Weimer he had an
Oh.
extra
Oh,
VA,
yeah, I forgot about that. That's how I know you. That's right, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, go
which
ahead.
ironically I'm going to London. I'm going to try to meet him in October.
He's
So
so cool. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean he's crushing. I don't even know how many millions he's generating right now. Um, but I was doing some coaching with him, and I was like, "Man, I need a VA." He's like, "Well, we hired ahead. He had kind of a lull in the business, so I'm hiring a VA through him. So I'm paying them $10. I don't know how much my VA gets. I'm paying him 10. She's getting paid whatever she's getting paid. And then the second one, I went through a company through the brokerage I'm at. So my new real estate brokerage is helping to train. So they have already all the documents. It's awesome. Obviously I got to train them on my stuff,
Mhm.
but real estate agent business, it's the same as what I do. Is if you, everyone has to do the same thing. So they're training them on all that stuff, and so
Oh,
that's through a separate company. Now with that separate company, we did two like effectively cattle calls. We had the 13 total. So one had 6 and I think one had 7. So 13 total people. And ironically, the one that we used is a referral from my VA in the Philippines. The VA in the Philippines sister knows this guy. And so we interviewed him and he's like legit twice as better than everybody else.
just how much he knows or how effective he is, or what is the difference?
It and to start out with 100% how he communicated what he did and how he can add value. Now the key is will he deliver? So I've used 3 other VA companies in the past and all of them not very good. And so this one we'll see if he translates to what he says, then it's going to be gold jackpot. So which I kind of want him to end game make more money, lead him up into the effectively my admin or manager of VAs because we're going to
Mhm.
need more VAs. So if he pans out, we'll move him here. One thing I do want to point out, and this is for I know Harry's listening in the background. When you're running businesses, the key thing is to think about contracts, not just today, but the long-term impact.
Mhm.
So on this specific contract, and this is for all VAs, right? VA
Mhm.
company. Every VA company makes you sign a contract because they only make money if you use a VA that you hire through them. Now, the big issue in this business, it's the same for any kind of headhunter slash consulting business. A lot of companies try to just poach that person and quote unquote hire them away is probably the better term. And so they always have this, yeah, you can totally hire them away, but there's a large fee, right? I want to say it's like 10K, right? Which 10K may not seem a lot in the grand scheme of it, but when you're paying, that's like 6 months worth of VA, right? So I negotiated in the contract, and when you're negotiating the contract, that's when you have the ultimate leverage
Mm.
because they
'Cause they
want you
want you as a client.
100%. So I negotiated in the contract that says if I provide the resume for the person that we ultimately pick, There is no buyout fee. Now, they're still going to train him, but there's no buyout fee. So the plan here is within 3 months after he's like onboarded and all that stuff, which I'm paying 500 a month for. I'll just remove him out of the system. He'll be full time on my side.
Mm, that's a smart move. You just went and will most VA companies do that, or was this like a special deal with a smaller company or something?
Well, you got to ask. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know how big they are. I mean, they have hundreds, if not thousands, of VAs, right? It's all
Hmm.
volume, right? They make a couple bucks per hour, right?
Yeah.
And so, but you have to think about your business because at the end of the day, if I'm not making money, they don't have a client, right? And
Yeah.
so I was like, hey, like this is like ridiculous, right? How much you're charging per month? And I'm like, one, I'm not paying my other company that amount. So if you want my business, you need to work with me. So I was able to negotiate that in. Obviously they had to sign off with whoever up the chain. But now that gives me mass amount of control, right? Because $500 may not seem a lot to a lot of people, but when as you're building a company, the faster you grow, the more money it sucks. So just to round the numbers out, each VA is about, call it 2,000 a month. I've got $1,000 a month at least in like systems and data and all that. So every day I wake up on the first of the month, I'm at least 5,000 negative, right? So when you start adding more cost on that, these $500, it starts adding up. Because like when we're doing 5 transactions a month, no problem. If for whatever reason we went to 0 transactions, I still got to pay that 5,000. Right? So fixed cost can be a killer. So as you're scaling a business, you want to watch variable versus fixed costs so that you can grow out of them. I either remove the fixed cost or grow into the variable costs. And so managing a business can be super difficult because you're an entrepreneur, you're a one man show. You have to generate the business. Like I said, I need X number of business before I can hire like the first full time, which is going to be 60, 70,000 bucks a month type of person,
Yeah.
right?
That's kind of what put me out of the wholesaling business was the VA deal because I was kind of doing, I mean, it was averaging out to like one or two deals a month for like almost a year. And I felt like I had some momentum, like I could spend money on leads and cold callers and dialers. So I shouldn't have done this. I should have waited until I had maybe 3 months of reserves or something like that. But I hired this company called Start Virtually. Have you heard of them?
I use them too.
Okay, so that's the one I used, and the VA I had was pretty good. It was for cold calling though, which it sounds like yours is a lot less on the phone with people, more like just handling day to day stuff. So the VA I hired was supposed to be cold calling, and like you're saying, like it kind of adds up as far as how much if you're not closing deals, it can really start to eat away, especially if you're living on a lot of that income as well at the time. And so the VAs just weren't kind of panning out. They weren't getting as many leads as they were supposed to, and I probably wasn't doing the right job training them. Not ever having employees before, and they weren't that motivated. And it was a lot of like focusing on that, and then took away from the phone. So then after a few months, you kind of just have to pull the plug on it, and then you're kind of back at square one. And then
Oh,
it takes
that's
all
the
that
hardest
time to
part.
get momentum. And so then I got hired at Envoy, and I kind of just put it to bed.
Yeah, I did that. Start Virtual was one of the previous ones I used. There's three of them. I think the Start Virtual owner, if I remember right, was in a mastermind I was in. And so I was like, oh, well, I'll try that out.
Is that
And
Cody Barton?
that one's actually Pace Morby's like right hand guy, right?
I think
Cody
so,
Parker.
yeah. I
Yeah.
never That's how I found about Start Virtually. I thought he was like an owner or something, but maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong.
I would assume so because Pace is the master at content and creating multiple streams of income. So
Yeah.
because I use Start Virtual, and then I also tried he had a VA company, not a VA, but a title company. What's the
Hmm.
title? there's a company used in closing transactions. I forget the name of it, but I tried them as well. He's great at plugging businesses.
Mm. Yeah, but definitely, I think you need to have the sufficient income to justify it. Because, well, I jumped into it too early and it just didn't make any sense. But yeah, if you're doing 5 deals a month, you got a team. I think, especially for tasks that are not cold calling, also because the cold calling, I mean, they had a really strong accent, and it was just like people would get turned off by that. I think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's definitely as you're interviewing. It's like, how do these guys sound on the phone? Is this somebody that I think could get past? Because both of the people I have, one's going to be more just calling and texting, like external. The other one's going to be internal. But you want them to be able to communicate with your clients, potential clients, and prospects. So they got to be able to speak English, and the flow and the grammar and the words that they're using all make sense to the people that are in your network.
Hmm. Is there any other sort of business you would consider starting, like a VA company, or once you've reached a certain momentum and systemization of your current business, would you ever think of starting a different one?
Next business would probably be property management. So
Okay.
the goal here is a push button for people who have money that
Mhm.
want to invest. Like my whole tagline and everything I do is we help you build wealth. Now, my agent business is through real estate, but the broader thing is we help you build wealth. Now, with that, there I have like education and real estate transaction. Next one is property management because when you buy something, if you don't want to self manage, you're going to hire a property manager. And who do they usually ask? Me, right? So if I want to, I can start bringing these people in. Back to
Mhm.
leveraging your cost structure, right? If I already have, because this new guy, part of his admin stuff is I'm taking back in June all my Washington properties to manage.
Yeah.
So as I do that, I'll take that over, learn all the process, then I can incrementally take on clients, right? Okay, so then we have the agent, then we have the property management. Then the next one I'd like to do is what else do you need in the transaction?
Title
What
company.
title company could be one of them. That's
Okay.
highly regulated and low margins. What would be another one?
In a real estate transaction, you need private capital, maybe, you need a closing company, you need another agent, another buyer. I don't
You need
know. What
you need the money, right?
Oh, the money, private cap okay, yeah.
So you need a loan, right? So next one would be a lending company, right?
Mhm.
Now, it wouldn't be my company. I would get my license and be with XYZ brokerage, right? So there's another avenue, right? What's the next thing people need? You have a property. What's the lender want? They want to guarantee. Well, how do you guarantee they're going to get paid?
With the asset.
That needs a what?
Lien.
A lien, yes, but then a
Uh,
policy, insurance policy,
oh, I
right?
see, okay.
So then I could have an insurance company, right? Now all these are sales, right? So all in the end game, imagine saying, "Hey, I need help on building wealth. How do I go about doing that?" This is exactly what you do. I want to have, let's just say I have 100,000 to invest, and I can literally I'll create like a blueprint. It says, take this 100,000. This company is gonna first company is I'm gonna educate you.
Mm,
W2 to freedom or your channel, the build wealth community, right?
yeah.
Second one would be, okay, let's get you a property to buy. Well, to buy a property, you need the next company, which is the insure or the lending company. Okay, now you've closed, you need the insurance. Okay, sell them insurance, right? And then you just keep stacking all these things together. Then the other one, the next level one, there's insurance for properties. Then there's insurance for health slash infinite banking, depending on how you're using these insurance policies. So the end game is like you come to me with X dollars. I show you how to take X dollars to W-2 to freedom. This is your wealth plan. So we're like level one right now, right? So if you think about and this is I'm not comparing myself to him, but I'm trying to mimic the model. Elon Musk, right? If you look at where he's at today,
Yeah.
all these whenever he started this mastermind thing, it was brilliant. He created these cars. He's got the Boring Company. He's got the space shuttle company. He's got the satellite company, autonomous driving. He's got the robots. All these translate into like the same one macro conglomerate that
Yeah.
basically can give you access to anywhere in the world physically or digitally. And then in theory, digitally, you can control robots other way, right? It's
Yeah.
all, see how they're all interlinked,
Yeah,
right?
definitely. Like vertical integration.
Yeah. I'm just doing the same conceptually the same thing. Person has money, he wants to get from W-2 to freedom.
Mhm.
The hardest part is no one can see from A to B, W-2 to free. How do you get to there?
Yeah.
I want to have all the different funnels of money in between those so that they don't have to make it easy. Also, I make the most amount of money and it gets them there faster.
And you've kinda done that, just not all the way to the finish line that you just outlined, right? Because 'Cause you'll take somebody that's got money or whatever, and then you help them find rental properties, which is kinda like at least getting them a quarter of the way there, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So then the next step would just be like, "Oh, by the way, here's your insurance, and here's some money to go buy your next one, and here's" the other ones you just mentioned.
Yep. And it's literally, I'm already doing all this stuff already, right? Well, how are you doing it? Well, when they go, they want to buy a property. What do I do? I give them three lenders. Okay, great. Hey, who do I use for insurance? Here's three lender people, right? Now, today I can get referrals from those people, right? So that's
Oh,
great,
nice.
right? Now, the end game is they're obviously not going to be happy, but if I can keep all those dollars in my economy,
Mm,
meaning they float through my system only versus through external systems, that's that's how you can grow your now, I learned this from, I had some friends that are Jewish, and the Jewish community, they literally focus on how do they spend money with only people in their community. That
that's right.
means every dollar that goes through cycles through a lot of the Jewish people's community.
That's
And
so interesting.
I'm like,
Mm,
"That is freaking brilliant," right? It's the same thing I'm doing the VA. Instead of giving 500 to this other person, well, I can spend that through my VA in my economy.
yeah,
I get the same output, but now I have more time with that, right? So it's how you make every dollar worth more than a dollar. And then over time, like no one is going to be able to compete with Elon on effectively getting stuff from Earth to space.
right.
He's gonna be the lowest cost provider. You'll never beat him, right? Now, Bezos may be 2, but he may be, like, literally light years away. So, that's what I'm trying to do. If you bridge that gap and have a one-stop shop, no one will ever be able to compete. It's the same reason why you won't compete with, Elon. He's already done all the heavy lifting, literally, and because he's got all that infrastructure in place, the next thing he can do is lower the cost,
Right.
right? So for me, for example, I could take a little bit less on the lend, a little bit less on the brokerage, a little bit less on the loan, a little bit less on the insurance, a little bit less on the property management, a little bit less on the contract, the fix and flip portion, right? But I'm
Yeah,
still making way more than anybody
the
else.
sum total. Dang, you're kinda blowing my mind right now.
Yeah,
So that's why Elon Musk, you're saying he couldn't be competed with is because he's got the whole force of all of his businesses behind him where he can now, in a sense, control the market in a way because he can handle being at a lower cost than each individual business, but the sum total still outcompetes them all.
right.
Whoa. Do
He
you have a
has
timeline for this plan?
I don't, but I need it, right? I should, I mean, anything I don't like doing anything longer than 5 years, but so
Mm,
probably 5 years, right? So, basically, you have to add, like, 1 a year. Like, for this year, it's like, I need to be, my goal is, 2.5 million for total revenue, just the agent business, right? And we're, like, way behind that. Like, we'll hit, like, 1 million if we don't do anything different what we're doing, it'd be like 1 million, which is, like, 2x last year, but I'm trying to go 5x. I need to, like, crush that first. Why?
mhm.
That's the economic driver, i.e. the cash that then gets the people to then bring in the, whether it's lending, insurance, PM, whatever the second thing is. But you're right. I should have a 5-year plan and it should be in order. Like, what's the next thing that's in order, right? So it's probably the property management. It's the biggest problem for people. And there's quite frankly no good ones. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to be great, but if they're all substandard, at least they know somebody is caring for them, right? Because like I'm going to care about it more because they're my client in more than one way. And if they ever choose to sell, who's the first to know? The property manager,
Mm,
right?
right.
So that's how you avoid leakage, meaning if you have a client, you don't want them to go anywhere else, right? So
Yeah.
if I can control that, more touches to them, right? I have, it's so I was at Amazon. Their big shit thing is called SOW, share of wallet, right? You only have so many dollars, right? So if you have 1,000 of discretionary income,
Yeah.
day one when Amazon started, you're buying like $20. I bet you the average, I don't know what the number is, but it's probably like $100. Like
Like the Amazon shares?
share of wallet, meaning if
Oh.
you're any household has to buy stuff to live.
Oh.
Let's just say
Oh,
that's
I see.
$1,000.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they are, I'm just guesstimating. Let's just say they're at $10. They're probably like at $100. Like I know we're over $100 a month, right? So the more that I can be a higher share of wallet for somebody,
See what
the
you're saying.
better
Yeah.
because we got more money coming in. The other thing is like if you are connected to me 5 ways, when if for you to leave me, you've got to say no 5 times. I don't want
Yeah.
your insurance. I don't want your transaction. I don't want your property management. I don't want your agent business, right?
Yeah. Wow. And then a lot of employees probably at that point, right? You got ideally maybe like one key person for each thing. I mean,
Yep.
Elon Musk kind of seems like he's running all of them, but he probably's got some high performers on the day-to-day stuff.
That's what I want. Like, I mean, how's he gonna write a book? He's so I don't even know how. I'm just amazed at this guy. So I always said that that guy is gonna be either bankrupt or the richest guy in the world. 5 years ago, I said he's gonna go bankrupt. Now I'm like, is this guy gonna hit what I don't even know what 1,000 trillion is. Uh, whatever that is, he'll for sure be a trillionaire. That's a no brainer. But like a decatrillionaire, whatever, it's gonna be crazy, right?
He says he's going to, but yeah, a different type of person. That's makes you feel better about doing something, on a still large scale, but compared to that, when you compare it to that, it seems more possible. You know what I mean? Like your goals in a way.
Yeah.
It's good perspective, but kind of unrelated question, slightly personal finance related, money
Mhm.
adjacent. How do you justify making a big purchase, like income wise? Say you're going to buy like a non-investment, just something that's like costs money. How do you justify that?
I feel like today is like the Elon day because I was just like a couple weeks ago. I'm like, back to I make the most money, like $1,000 an hour activity is what I want to do, right? That's why I
Hmm.
hired a VA to have them do $10 an hour, so I can do $1,000 an hour. $1,000 an activity is meeting people, talking to people, making those networking connections. Now, how do I do that? I've got to travel. Well, I'm in a car. Well, the car I have today is a regular car. It's not a FSD, full service drive or full service driving, I think it's called. So
Okay.
who has full service driving? Tesla,
So,
right? So I'm like, maybe I should get a Tesla. If I trade in my car, Yes, my car's paid off. Yes, I've already depreciated it. If I buy a new car, I can depreciate that off my taxes, year 1. Thank you, Trump. Now, there's a huge tax savings right there. They have 0% interest on the Model Y. I don't know if it's still on there, but it was 2 weeks ago. But with this FSD, what can I do more of? I'm always dangerously driving because I'm, like, talking to somebody, I'm texting, right? I know you're not supposed to, but I'm like, if I
Yeah.
had FSD, effectively, I have a chauffeur. The trade-off for that, if I save in theory, if I'm doing $1,000 an activity, the payment's not $1,000 a month. If I save 1 hour a month, this is like a no-brainer to buy this vehicle.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, and especially if it's 0% interest, in the sense that's you would rather do that than put cash into it because you're going to be losing money having your money in a depreciating asset rather than having it invested or in your business.
Yeah,
So there's that side of it. What about like the dollar amount? Like, say it was, you know, $1 million thing or something. How would you justify the income level to be able to afford it?
right. The price is relative, but I think what's probably more important is the amount of capital. Because
Yeah.
like, if it's 1,000,000 or not, typically, I'm not buying it spending 1,000,000 of my cash.
Yeah.
Typically, I'm paying a percentage of that,
Yeah.
you know, if it's real estate, obviously, it's like, anywhere from 5 to 20% typically.
Yeah.
So then I'm saying, based on that money, is that money that I'm gonna put out, I like to use Harry was on earlier, he's a military guy. I like to say my dollars are little soldiers. I want them to go into battle and bring back soldiers with them. Like,
Hmm.
I want 1 soldier to go out and bring 2 soldiers back. So it all comes back to the return on the money you're gonna put into it. So if you can put in, and I was just on with Cody Davis right before this. We were talking about I have this one property where I could convert all these 8 bedrooms into effectively like small little dorm rooms with a little kitchenette in it. He's just like, hey, you could buy these units, plug it in because I already have a sink in there, so I already have plumbing. You could plug these in, spend 1,000 or $3,000. Now you spend the $3,000, you increase your rent.
Mm.
Well, that rent then pays back the $3,000, right?
Right.
So if you can make the math work, then it's a no-brainer. That's how I do any, like, business decisions. Now,
What
flip
about
side,
buying like a watch?
say, "Oh, a watch?" Like, uh, I'm, like, not that so the watch I have actually is right here, and it's an Apple Watch, and I only use this because, it has, like, functionality more than the time, right? And so, because you can get it helps you communicate with clients and all that kinda stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'm not a I think, like Rolexes and all that, like, I see, like, they're very trendy right now, right? And people think they can make all this money on it. To me, it's like you're selling something to a greater fool, or I should say somebody who perceives more value in it.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a net zero sum game, right? It's kind
Right.
of like playing in a poker room. Only one person can ultimately be rich. And the only way
Yeah.
that happens is that you're at a 10-person table, 9 go broke and 1 wins it all, right? It's the
Mm.
same with watches in my so outside of the basic functionality, I don't care. It's the same thing with cars, right? We have a bunch of old cars, right? Even like living, like I live. This is an apartment, right? I rented out my house for more than this apartment. I'm
Yeah.
all about like now. Why do I do that? Like last night, we're big into cruises. We have like because we do so many cruises, they give us these basically free cruise offers. So we're like, hey, we need to fit these 2 cruises in the next year, and we're like, we already have all these trips. Where are we going to move it in? So we do the functional cars, live in an apartment, so that we have the discretionary income to put it into the travel. Because
Right.
that's like there's no economic factor. It's happiness factor. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm about, the time that I have left, I want to create as many memories as possible because
Mm.
that's like the thing that makes me the happiest when, if I'm sitting somewhere and I'm like, oh man, that time in Phuket, Thailand, and we are doing that thing. like at the beach. Like that's that's what everything's about to me. Or like one time I flew to my buddy's baby shower. Spur of the
Mhm.
moment. A week later, I'm in Dallas for one night for his baby shower. There's friends of his that live in Dallas that didn't even go.
Yeah.
But I was like, and he was like, "Holy crap! I didn't think you'd come." But it's like, what, you just wanted a gift? So, but these are the things that you can do when you start leveraging your business, right? And that trip is a business trip. He's a client, right?
Mm,
If I'm in Dallas, I can go meet people that I can refer people to in my business, right? So that's a business write-off for that trip.
dang. Yeah, man. It's good. I like picking your brain on this sort of stuff because it just shows the mindset and like how your brain works and how you think about different things. Because clearly there's a pattern that leads to the results that you're getting, and how even just like most people. I mean, maybe this is true, but when you ask someone like, "How would you justify buying a watch?" Your first thought is like, how is a watch a business? Like, how can I
Yeah,
resell it or whatever? A lot of people are like, oh, I just want to wear a watch so I can look cool. You know what I mean? But your mind was like immediately like, how is this a business in some way? You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's
exactly.
all good stuff. Those are the main topics I wanted to hit, man. I'm running a little out of time here, but you
Yeah.
got anything else you wanted to
No, man,
cover?
I'm just excited to do these things. I love learning. I love sharing, and by doing these podcasts, if we can just help one person, Harry was on here. Anybody else that's in the community, I'd love it if they'd hop into these because this
I
is
know,
where
man.
I was there 10 years ago. I'm like, I hate my life. I'm stuck in this job. How do I get out? You have to talk to the other people that are trying to get out or are out,
Yeah.
right? Because they have some experience that you don't have that you need to accelerate what you're doing. So I love these things. I hope we can keep these going.
Oh
And
yeah.
thanks for
100%.
inviting me out.
No, man. Sounds good. I'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks, Brennan.
All right. Have a good one.